What do you think is the most overplayed song in yoga classes?
Like when I first started teaching yoga, it was like so much Odessa, which I love Odessa, but like they really overdid it. Or like Moby, but like now what's really interesting is like I'm getting back into playing Moby and I like love it, but I feel like a Chugi yoga teacher for when I play a little bit, but I think it's vintage.
Shout out Moby. Hi, I'm Ellie and welcome to Cool Friends. In this series, I chat with the amazing people in my life who are doing creative, fun, interesting, and experimental projects to hear how they got started, how they're finding inspiration, and how they keep going in their day-to-day lives. So today I'm here with my good friend Angelica Neri.
Hey.
Thank you for being here. So tell me a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so I'm an intuitive healer and basically I read energy and I also facilitate healing. So I'll do that in one-on-one healing sessions where I'll use a lot of different modalities, but like Reiki and Ayurveda and yoga, and help to see where there's energetic blockages and help to move the energy physically in the body so that people can feel lighter after. And then because I'm an intuitive, I also channel messages from their guides on what they need in order to heal those blockages so that they don't create those blockages again, and how they can truly just like meet themselves of like their highest version of themselves.
For those of us who may not know, what is Ayurveda and how did you get into it?
It is one of the most ancient holistic healing sciences in the world that originated in India, dated back, some say 5,000 years, some say 10,000 years ago, and it tells us how we can live in harmony with our bodies, but from a mind, body, spirit connection, a very holistic way of living. And a lot of times in the West, Ayurveda is seen as what diet and lifestyle practices I could pick up something really tangible and how it can pick up healthy habits, which can definitely bring some benefits to people. But what I have learned working with Ayurveda now for like the past 5 or 6 years is that it really has allowed me just to read energy and trust my own intuition and guide my clients to trust their intuition too, of like, it's not just one particular diet that is for you as an example on like base level. It's you getting to trust and listen and learn how to listen to your own bodies so that you get to make your own decisions and not source your power from someone else.
I feel like that's huge as a creative, just learning to trust yourself again, because there's so many things in our lives that are saying, this is the right way, these are the steps you have to take, this is what you have to eat, et cetera, et cetera.
Totally. And especially when people come to you for intuitive healing sessions, sometimes you can almost feel that like, tell me what it is that I need to do, that like giving away the power. But truly a experienced healer will actually just give the power back to you and be like, you actually already know. So what I'm seeing, they're always like, of course, like, yes, like there's this kind of like exhale release of like, oh, I already knew that within me, but we're like anxious. There's a lot of things going on. We're taking so much information. It's hard to decipher. It's nice for someone to be like, yes, you do know, and that's what you need to trust.
So correct me if I'm wrong, you kind of started your business during the pandemic, correct?
Yes.
What is that like, building a business as someone who is intuitive, creative, a little bit softer?
It's interesting because I feel like I was called to the healing world to open up my softness, but I was call it conditioning or programmed to like start in the very masculine way, which it sometimes feels more comfortable just because that's been my autopilot for a longer time. So the entrepreneurness of like get after what you want, kind of like forcing, felt like comfortable in how I wanted to put that template on originally for my business. And ultimately it kept leading me back to like, no, but you are a creative, you are soft. You do have to learn how to go with the flow and how to structure your business like that. So it's this like constant ever evolving cycle of coming back to that.
What was the biggest surprise, I guess, for you when building this business for yourself?
Oh, I mean, so many. So many. I think that's what the biggest thing is, why you have to release the control, because the universe is constantly surprised. You think it's going to go one way, and then they like take you off another path. Like, I never expected to be, when I got my Reiki certification, I was just like, oh, this is like fun, like spiritual. I just want to learn more about reading energy. And I never thought I would be leading trainings on it. Like that to me seems like quite the calling to like want to lead certification programs on it.
For sure.
And nonetheless, do it online was like a really big, I felt very adverse to doing it at first, but then it was during the pandemic. And so my first Reiki training was supposed to be in a yoga studio and we had to cancel it because it was COVID. And so I was led to lead it online, which, as you could imagine, already leading a healing modality that has to do with like waving your hands over someone's body to heal them felt really vulnerable, let alone doing it online and virtually where people were in all different parts of the country. I just like, my brain couldn't wrap around it, but I had to like follow the calling, even though on paper it made no sense. It just like where my heart was called to, which is what I would equate to is trusting your intuition and going with the flow. And when I did, it really opened up and started my whole business, is releasing what I thought it looked like on paper and allowing it to guide it. And the training was incredible. These people from all different countries, they all had the same visualization experience, and everyone's like jaw was to the floor, that we are all so connected by just like being together on a Zoom meeting. So that continuously begins to happen, of like those surprises. The more that I can get out of the way of like what my mind thinks it's supposed to be, and just trust that like how things feel and that intuitive way of living, things work out so much smoother.
For people who might be just starting to tap into their creative power, or maybe like, I know I want to start a business, but I don't know what it is, or I know I have a gift, but I don't know how to bring it into the world. Do you have any kind of 101 suggestions for tapping into your intuition?
First, I think if you're like starting a creative endeavor, it always comes from your desires. And sometimes this is a journey because different experiences, we suppress those desires and we numb them into different things. And then there's a lot of cultural conditioning, which tells us that like our desires and dreams are like not feasible. So it really dims them and then makes it, they're not as loud. So it's really getting back to like just your curiosities. I like using that word because passion sometimes can feel very loaded. It can feel like it's got to be my everything. It's got to be my life purpose. Like I think there's a very big frustration with that with like our generation. And I feel that all the time too. So it's just the things that you're curious about, like something so simple like picking up a book that you've been thinking about for a really long time. It's those things that you've been, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about taking that class for like so long that I haven't. And this is what happens like in my healing sessions of people are like laughing like, yeah, I know. Like I had a session with the therapist yesterday and she was like, I don't know what direction I want to go into. And I didn't know she was a therapist. And I was like, well, I see you leading trauma-informed healing circles, but like in smaller groups and in a community. And she like rolled her eyes. She's like, oh, I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to do that, but like I'm afraid, because she does one-on-one therapy, I'm afraid to do that in a community setting because it feels hard to like lead. It's just a wholly different structure for her. And like that makes sense. So to me, I think it's just like learning to trust what those desires are. And the step one process for that is like slowing down and just getting to like really listen to your body. I remember at one point in my life, I just felt like I'm ruled by my schedule right now. I feel like I'm ruled by work and I'm ruled by these like external things in my life. And I don't feel like I have sovereignty over it. And so it's like taking the reins back and like, you are constantly creating your world. You do have the power to make the choices that you want. So just get quiet enough and be okay with saying no to the things that you don't and saying yes to the things that you do.
I think especially as someone who is multi-hyphenate, like I have a lot of different interests or a lot of different passions, it can be hard because you're like, oh, I'm really interested in this one thing. I'm really interested in painting. Is that going to be my identity? Do I have to be a painter? Is this like, do I have to start an Etsy store? Of course, as a millennial, we like try and think about monetization, of course. But I think the lesson is like, it's not necessarily about the painting, right? Like it's just a step. Maybe you take an art class and that you meet someone there and that leads to something else. It's like, have the freedom to explore those interests without feeling like it needs to take over your life or your identity from that point forward.
Totally. I think that's just like the pressure of just seeing like, sometimes it does happen that quickly for other people. And it's really annoying. And you're like, oh, I'm so happy for you. You just found your thing and you're doing it. And like, you know, everything changes. Like, but that person was ready and they were laying down the groundwork and foundation how many other months or years ahead of time, like even though it seems like they weren't. So it's, yeah, exactly. Just trusting the process and the breadcrumbs.
We were just talking about this while we were getting coffee about the importance of patience right now. Like the balance between going out and making something versus waiting for it to arrive or allowing things to fall into place. Again, kind of going back to that feminine versus masculine we were talking about, but I feel like that's a huge lesson that has been coming up for me recently.
Totally. It's the most uncomfortable.
Okay, so we met way back in Chicago when you were my yoga teacher. Mm-hmm. What do you think is the most overplayed song in yoga classes?
Oh gosh, it always changes. Like when I first started teaching yoga, it was like so much Odessa, which I like love Odessa, but like they really overdid it. Or like Moby, but like now what's really interesting is like I'm getting back into playing Moby and I like love it, but I feel like a chuggy yoga teacher for when I play a little bit. but I think it's vintage.
Shout out Moby.
But I also, let's see, just like dance music. I know that I sound maybe like an old person for just saying that, but like, yeah, I'm all about the oldies. So it's really funny. I track like a lot of old men in my class because I play like dad music, but like that's like the kind of music like I like to listen to.
Some Steely Dan and Shavasana.
Just love it. Maybe not Shavasana, but I do love a Steely Dan.
Amazing. Do you have any yoga class pet peeves?
Yes, so many. This is as the enlightened yoga teacher. I think the main one is just leaving early. And I don't take it personally. Like, it's funny because it happened yesterday. This guy, it's a hard class. It's heated. I teach a heated yoga class. Sometimes it's with weights. Like, it's challenging. And I think it was like one of his first times, and he was just trying to make it, you know? Like, he didn't know. He's
story of my life.
He's just trying to survive.
Yeah.
So he got up in the middle of meditation when I explicitly said, I gave everyone the permission to leave a few times before that so we could have peaceful meditation. And at first I was bummed. Then I was like, this guy's just like fighting for his life right now. Like, let him leave during the meditation. Like, everyone will be okay. Everything's going to be okay. So whenever I see like a trigger, I do self-reflect. I'm like, oh, what is that like I need to release? Or like, okay, I need to like set these rules a little bit more. But I think that one for sure.
I feel like that's a big one for sure. Okay, as a spiritual girly, will you ever go to Burning Man?
Oh, that's such a good question. I never want to say never because like whenever do you ever have that thing where you ever say never and then they make you do it?
Yes.
They, meaning the universe. Yeah, so I don't want to say that. I used to love festivals back in my day. Who wouldn't?
Same.
Live music, being around friends, up all night, love it. But as I get older, I just don't know. I don't like being uncomfortable. It's like Parker Posey in the latest White Lotus season.
Amen to that. Yeah. I feel you. What do you think your mission is with your work?
I want to empower women to feel like they're in their power. And to me, their power is connecting deeply to their intuition so that they feel like they have the answers within them and they don't have to seek it outside themselves. And that really was a journey because whether it's Ayurveda, yoga, or Reiki, you're learning something. Like I've always led training programs to become an Ayurvedic health coach or Reiki Master or yoga instructor. And those things can help. But ultimately, hopefully, they're just like providing some type of template for you to know how to understand and read your body and learn to apply that template to like everything in life, no matter what circumstances you're in, because there's only going to be more challenges that come up along the way. You never want to feel like you have to rely on something outside of yourself for it.
I think that brings up a really interesting point too. A lot of the times we can explore something for our own hobby, whether that's Ayurveda, tarot, etc. But how did you build the confidence or the understanding to start being a teacher and bring that knowledge out to other people, start offering classes, etc.?
Yeah, that's really interesting because maybe I'm related to a Leo stellium, like just unasked for confidence. Like, who am I to just start doing that? Like, I led a candle making class. I never made a candle in my life. And I led a candle making class like a couple months ago because like it just like came up and that's what I did. So there's a little bit of that. But I also feel like there is this calling and sometimes you just like fall into it. Like with yoga, when I started leading yoga teacher trainings, like I just naturally started to get so involved in the yoga studio. I loved it so much that I was taking all the time and I was like seeing how I can get involved in all these different ways that like it was just a natural ask of like, oh, she's here all the time. Like she knows her stuff. She's learning like, and then I stepped into that role. And I think that really gave me the confidence as a teacher and using my voice. So then when it came time to like lead like Reiki trainings and Ayurveda trainings, of course it was still scary because it was a new modality and it's like the imposter syndrome, like who the hell am I to be like leading this?
Yeah.
Especially when you see so many other people who have way more years of experience, but it's ultimately you have to answer that call within you. Like I always have this like thrumming pulse within me where it's just like, I can't keep it in anymore. Like I have to get it out. And it just like following that call is easier than not following it almost. It has to get like that uncomfortable to do it, unfortunately.
Do you have any advice for spiritual, creative people who want to start doing their own thing, whether that's making content, building a business, etc.?
Yeah, I think a lot of times when I meet with people on this, they see the 10th step of their vision And they're like, well, how the hell did I get there? I got to do all this. And that's a lot. So you have to think back to what would the first step be. If you ever read that book, Atomic Habits, I forgot who it's by.
No, I haven't.
And he basically talks about like habit stacking. He talks about this thing of like, if you want to become a runner, like the first step is just like literally putting on your running shoes. Like you don't even have to go for a run. Like that is like how small and micro it is to really build a habit. And I think in this world of like comparing ourselves to other people and seeing someone's end result when we feel like we're at the beginning stage, it's so hard not to be like, I gotta catch up. Like I'm really behind. But you really have to meet yourself where you're at and take it, whatever that first little baby step is, and be really patient with yourself as you're grooming, as you're becoming a master at it, as you're experiencing it, as you're experiencing so many losses and mistakes, which not a lot of people share because unfortunately that doesn't get the engagement that you need to grow. So yeah, I think just like being really honest with yourself where you're at and being okay that it can take like, if you love it so much, it shouldn't matter how long it's going to take to get you because you would do it anyways.
What practices or things do you do to keep your cup full, to keep yourself inspired?
It's a good question. My mornings for sure, like for me, like I do not like to have any contact with anyone in the morning because I just like need a lot of stillness and silence and self-reflection. So I'll meditate and I'll pull cards and I'll journal or I'll read like a spiritual text. Right now I'm reading the Bhagavad Gita and Ram Dass's interpretation of it. And that just like helps me to put like an intention throughout my day. And that is like so non-negotiable. Even when I travel now, like that is just like a part of me. So I have like daily habits that like set me up for it. But I also know, like I was talking to you, like regularly I have to like take just like breaks of just like relaxing and resting and learning more of what that is. Like as a doer and someone who like finds a lot of success out of like crossing things off my to-do list, it's literally just like it's time for like self-care and just like laying and not doing anything, which is like even so hard to even admit.
Normalize laying.
And just like really, it's so hard to do, honestly. And not even doing anything else, but just like being in my body, it feels so good.
As an emotional soft girly, where are your favorite places to cry in LA?
Oh, my car. Like that's always been me.
Yeah.
I'm a driver and I help to like really, I love moving and crying. So definitely in my car because then I could like drive along the PCH. It's so funny. Michelle Branch is playing in the background too. This is like a good.
Yeah. I feel like I use my car for crying, but also like screaming.
Yes.
I used to drive down the 405 and just scream.
Oh, I've definitely done that so many times. Because where else can you do that? When you live in LA, like in apartments, like someone would think I'm getting shot or murdered.
Yeah. Or I will yell affirmations when I'm like, I need a mood boost.
Oh, I love that.
Sometimes I'll roll down the window and scream affirmations because no one can hear.
I love that so much.
Pro tip. Okay, well, if people want to work with you or take your class, where can they find you?
The best is my Instagram, Angelica Feminine Healer. And that's where I usually like post a lot of like my creative stuff and whatever offerings that I have at the moment.
Amazing. And what about your yoga classes?
My yoga classes, yes, I post about those too. And right now I teach at Sweat Yoga in Los Angeles.
Okay. Amazing. And then, so the whole point of this series was really to network without networking, to get good advice without doing it in a formal, stuffy way. And because you are a cool friend, I wanted to ask if you would introduce me to your coolest friend to keep my circle growing.
Oh, I love that. Well, I think my best friend is the coolest person ever.
Okay.
She is a fashion designer of a growing women's clothing brand called Rumored. And she does all the styles that they have on there. And I'm just...
Wait, I know that brand.
You do?
Yeah. Wow.
I mean,
look at this.
She is just crushing it. And I'm so proud of her because obviously I've known her since high school. But yeah, it's an incredible brand. And she's a fashion designer for it.
Huge.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Until next time. Thanks, guys.